People who've had sex with celebrities. How was it? My dad dated Sarah Wayne Callies Laurie Grimes from The Walking Dead in high school. He defines her as a very nice girl. Truth be told, I don't think he remembers much of that relationship, but she came to our house party once when I was a kid, and she was always really nice to me and my sister. Edit. I think it's worth mentioning the irony here. She was only around when I was a kid, once or twice when my parents would throw house parties, being 8 or 9. I just thought of her as another adult there and didn't really care. But when I was 13 to 16 and became a huge Walking Dead fan and never saw her around after that, I was so disappointed. There were points me and my mom would be watching the show and my dad would walk in and be like, "You know op, I dated the actress who played Laurie." "Yes dad, I know. If only there was some way to meet her." I know a girl that hooks up with Hannibal Buress every time he comes to Milwaukee. Edit. They met on Bumble and she said he's very sweet guy. Girl. "Sorry honey, I can't see you this time. What are you gonna do without me tonight?" Him. Whack. Back in the zeros, a mate of mine used to Shaggy every time he would come to Melbourne. I think he probably made 3 trips down here. We'd all make a big deal about her disappearing for a few days to Shaggy. She had nothing but nice things to say about him. She knew she was nothing but a bit of side poon when he was in town. I'm picturing that they were both buck naked banging on the bathroom floor. Wasn't him. But I saw him banging on the sofa. Knew someone who slept with Leonardo DiCaprio. Apparently he kept his headphones on the entire time. Doggy style? This rumor is everywhere. I want to know what he's listening to. He's learning his scripts. Did it happen in a pool? I knew a girl who was an escort. She had sex with Derek Jeter. Afterwards he called a limo to take her home. In the limo was a gift. It was a baseball signed by Derek Jeter. He did this with all of them. There are plenty of dames in New York with Yankees gift baskets courtesy of this legend. Damn. Man straight ups all of New York. Jenna Jameson kissed me on the mouth at a strip club in Ohio. That's all I got. That's all I got. Count yourself lucky. My grandmother dated Jimmy Carter. Not sure how physical things got, but I've read a few of the letters he wrote. I only post this because I can't think of any other reason I would get to bring this up. A friend was part of an actor studio / playhouse in the 80s. She said Jeff Goldblum has a huge ps and is an amazing lover. They did it a few times, but he let her down easy because his career was taking off and he was crazy busy. He was really cool and remembered her years later. Alec Baldwin was also hung, but was super hairy and sweated a lot. Like, it was dripping into her mouth. It was too hard to ignore the sweetiness for her to enjoy it. But he was hilarious. Very bright and smelled good. Carrie Hatch, the bass player from Oingo Boingo, would scream, "I'm coming." Really? Loud. Edit. Correction from my friend. Carrie Hatch was the drummer back when they were together. He broke her heart. I love this. It seems completely on brand for them. I'm not familiar with the last one though. I knew Goldblum wouldn't disappoint. Edit. Spelling mistake. I will never be able to see Alec Baldwin again without seeing him dripping in post-coital sweat and saying, "My god, lemon. I smell amazing." Into the closest mirror. My ex slept with Till from Ramstein after a gig once many years ago when she was a gothlet. She said he was very respectful, mildly kinky, wanted to have sex on the hotel balcony with her bent over the rail over the city so people could see, and apparently had skin as soft as a baby. Apparently he was nice, bought her breakfast the next day, invited her back for a second sesh the next day, then moved on in his tour. She said 8/10 swoops again. My bestie had basically the exact same experience with Till, except she tried to ps him backstage and he declined, but invited her to his hotel room after the show. She showed up. He wouldn't let her inside until she showed him her driver's license. Apparently he had thought she was underage earlier and was just blowing her off. Didn't expect to see her again. Anyway, she was 20, she did look younger, so he let her stay the night. She said the same thing about him being very respectful and having really soft skin. I think, based on his music etc, everyone expects him to be all rough and tough. But yay, apparently he's got the skin of an angel. Go figure. Exps Twiggy Ramirez of Marilyn Manson around 2000 or so after a show. Apparently it was alright. His ps was huge, but it was over quick, and then he kicked her to the curb right after to do coke or something. And yes, she was underage. I came here to say this, except it was a friend not an ex, and it was in 1996. We were both 15 at the time. Post Malone asked my ex-girlfriend if she would be interested in going home with him under the condition that she would have to eat his ass. If there is one person's ass I would not want to eat, he would probably be it. Plus, his beehole probably has some stupid tattoo on it, like so hungry or someths. Blessed. It says ghetto. When he bends over it says get zero. My friend p's the dude from the WoW Vine with the girl vaping. This is the only one on the thread I actually care about. I hooked up with Randy Newman's son. He said I had a nice vagina. I guess that's a win. I guess you could say that. He had a friend in you. I p's a chick who was in a Target catalog. It was hot. Cutting a hole in the Target catalog doesn't count. I did not sleep with, but did a little more than made out with Drew Barrymore October 7th apostrophe. It was rad. She was always my biggest crush growing up. Congratulations. Now we must duel. A friend of mine slept with Perez Hilton. Would you be surprised if my friend said the sex wasn't very good? Edit. Perez Hilton the gossip blogger, not Paris Hilton the heiress. Too many people think I meant Paris when I wrote Perez. That just gave me shivers. I feel sorry for your friend. Knew a girl who's Zac Efron. Had to sign an NDA. Told me he wasn't all that great in bed, i.e. the fantasy was better than the reality. Still fanboyed over him hard apparently. So much about that NDA. Nope's agreement. Gotta sign an NDA to get that DNA. A girl I went to high school with dated Jason Akaraka Weeman shortly before Jackass 3 came out. He visited her family in Wee around Thanksgiving time, but he hated Wee so much that he paid her best friend to drive him to the airport in the middle of the night. I guess when he visited he was Wee Man. My nana was in a serious relationship with Nash of Crosby, Stills and Nash. Is she Joni Mitchell? You know, now that you mention it. My mom had sex with David Lee Roth. She said he smelled like sour milk and put his dirty hat on her head. Put his dirty hat on her head sounds like a euphemism. A woman I worked with had a one-night stand with Captain Obvious from Hotels.com whom she met at a New York jazz club. She pretended that she didn't recognize him in order to prevent being seen as a gold digger. She was hoping to get into a short-term relationship with him, and hopefully he would give her some money and buy her a Lexus, which she really wanted. Later she found out that he wasn't Captain Obvious, just looked very much like him. Gold digger trying to act like they aren't a gold digger. That's a new one. On a trip to Vegas, one of my friends f***ed Michael Jordan. She said it was painful and fairly fast. She won't ever stop talking about it. If I just saw Michael Jordan in person I probably would never stop talking about it. I met him when I was 14. I'm 32 now. Still haven't stopped talking about it. I used a gender-neutral bathroom with James Franco. We made eye contact and smiled at each other when we were washing our hands. My wife's grandmother dated Ted Bundy. Said he was a wonderful and charming guy. I mean, by all accounts he was. That's what made him so famous. He personified the next door neighbor. Could be a crazy person idea because he was just so not a typical serial killer in the way most people think. A friend of mine had sex with Paul Wesley. She said it was pretty good. He also took her on a short getaway trip. Seemed like a very nice guy. Ended up getting her a gift candle that was the scent of his cologne so she can remember him. Damn, that scented candle is smooth. There is only one ex that I associate with a cologne and I wouldn't say no to that scented candle. Close to 20 years ago, my roommate hooked up with a suicide girl who came to our apartment to stay for a few days. She kept name dropping all these celebrities she knew like Slash and Trent Reznor to the point we were like, why you lying? Then she pulled out all the pictures of her with various famous musicians. Apparently she was the secretary to someone famous for producing music and that was how she met all these dudes. Well, she was in a relationship with Maynard from Till at the time, and she left him to come live with us for a while because apparently sex with Maynard was just really bad. She later left my roommate for one of the drummers for Slipknot because he bought her a house in Texas. My roommate worked for a grocery store and just couldn't compete with the money. She did assure him that the celebrity sex was still bad. It was purely for the house. I'll start by saying Tool is one of my favorite, if not one band. But let's be honest, who would not be surprised by that? MJK is a pswackadoo. A personification of don't meet your hero, if there ever was one. A friend told me Victoria Justice gave lap dances to some of his friends at a party the year she signed on for Victorious. Was it done get in the Van Skneder? Slept with the lady that used to do the morning news in my city. This was at least 15 years ago. She is a blanket stealer and puts her cold feet right between your legs when she wants them warmed up. Now everyone knows Cassie. This is the cutest one by far. This is the only one so far. A friend of a friend slept with Shawn Mendes. Apparently it wasn't something to write home about. Edit. For everyone asking, the friend was a she. I know a lot of people have questioned his sexuality, but it's something he's came out and said makes him feel very uncomfortable. So you're saying he didn't leave anyone in stitches? A buddy of mine dated a celebrity of American Pie fame, a certain foreign exchange character. He has my eternal jealousy, but was a gentleman on the details. I did get to meet her and play poker at her house though, so there's that. It wasn't 6, but I did beat her at a couple of hands, so that was cool. Then she cheated on him with a dance show partner. Disappointing all round I think. Edit. My buddy is a redditor. One of the few that I know are viral. So I'm curious to see if I hear about this. She was like the pinnacle of hotness back in the day. Too bad she was a cheater. My friend bragged to me about getting banged by Tone Loc Funky Cold Med in a gooish was 18, but seemed proud of it. About 20 years later we were watching old videos and Tone Loc came on, and I asked her about it, and she said it sucked. He didn't shower after coming off stage, a little smelly, drunk and gave a few pumps and was done. Edit. Thanks for all of the comments and laughs. My friend was young and really didn't have much to compare her night with Tone Loc to. Fast forward a few decades and she now realized it was not that great. No, we never slept with each other, and that is good, because I would not want to be compared to Tone Loc. I will let my friend check out this feed and see if she gets a chuckle also. Thanks everyone. He barely did the wild thing. The mild thing. A co-worker's sister slept with Chris Evans before he was famous. Same town. She worked it into every conversation she could. 'Cause why wouldn't you? Edit. America's ass. My mother went to the same high school as him, even though not even close to the same time period. You can't bring him up, or even anything Marvel related without her bringing that up. Girl I know slept with G-Eazy in 2015, before he was really gave her chlamydia. LMAO. I feel like chlamydia is his middle name. Get chlamydia easy? Well, if this thread has taught me something, it's that celebrities are riddled with STDs. Anyone who is going to Psrandus left and right is heavily statistically likely to be a collection of STDs. Friend girl of mine bang screwed an NBA. Only detail I remember was that he was adamant about taking the condom with him when he left. Update. Thank you for the award. No child left behind. My grandma is from Memphis and dated Elvis for a while before he became mega famous. She has tons of pictures of them together and has told me tons of anecdotes that I have only seen in a few other places. Edit. Wow, wasn't expecting this to blow up. My inbox is literally full and I can't reply to everyone. Sorry. I posted this right before bed and I'm just now getting up. I've seen only 6 of the pictures. I believe she had more, but she mentioned she only shows them to family now because some had been stolen. And yes, for those asking about age, Elvis would be 83 this year and my grandma just turned 79. So she would have been a few years younger than he and certainly very below 18. She told me lots of stuff, but for some reason the thing that sticks out to me the most and always makes me smileys, that he loved bumper cars. 3 of the 6 photos she showed me were taken at different amusement parks / fairs and 2 of them were in front of different sets of bumper cars. Just thinking of a young Elvis laughing and ramming into my grandma makes me smile. Unfortunately I live over 9 hours away from her, so I can't just ride over and upload the photos online, and honestly I'm not sure if she would approve of that, but I will try and remember next time I go down there. Come here grandchild, let me tell you the story of the time Elvis came on my titties. Let me tell you dearie, he ain't nothing but a horn dog. I made sure his balls were not the same color as his suede shoes. I remember Vanilla Ice's answer to the question what was it like to sleep with Madonna. He said it's not like she had a golden ps. That has stuck with me. Slept with Western Kentucky's mascot after a drunken day at Churchill Downs. She refused to keep the head on. Still 10/10ths experience. Yes. The big red blob thing. Not everybody gets to thread grimace. Refused to keep the head on, but was she wearing the rest and there was like a flap of something?